Your hand moves before you think, sliding into the pocket that should be holding more than just your hip. There's a delay, a strange half-second where touch reports one thing, and your brain refuses to log it. The fabric is flat. Just denim, just warmth, just the ghost of a shape worn into the threads. You check the other pocket. Nothing. And then you do it again. The same motion reversed, because once is never enough for a truth you don't want. The feeling isn't panic. Not yet. It's a quiet short circuit, a stutter in the smooth hum of being. You feel slightly less solid, as if a part of your body has been politely erased. You start patting the same empty pocket again, slower, fingers spread wide, like you're trying to find a pulse in a corpse. Then the jacket, both sides. Then the backpack, unzipping the same compartment twice because the first look didn't stick. Meanwhile, your body is undergoing a quiet mutiny. Saliva thickens. The hair on your arms stands up as if the room just dropped 5 degrees. The absence becomes physical. A phantom weight where the phone used to rest, a missing density your hip keeps expecting. Your mind hasn't even formed the sentence, "I lost my phone," but your amygdala lit up 3 seconds ago. There's a word for this, though your body doesn't speak in words. Nomophobia. No mobile phone phobia, a term so sterile it almost feels like a joke, until you're standing in a grocery aisle with your heart thudding against your ribs because you can't find your phone. And it's not really a phobia, not in the classical sense. It's separation anxiety, the same circuitry that makes a toddler scream when their mother leaves the room has been quietly rewired to include a slab of glass and silicon. Your brain, in its infinite efficiency, stopped treating the phone as a tool and started encoding it as an attachment figure. Proximity equals safety. Absence triggers threat. The shift is almost invisible. Over months, the device becomes an extension of your proprioceptive map, the internal sense your brain maintains of where your body ends and the world begins. A blind person's cane gets folded into this map, the tip transmitting texture as though it were skin. Your phone does the same, but deeper. It holds your memories, your social bonds, your calendar, your sense of direction. The hippocampus, which maps both physical space and autobiographical memory, treats that object as a node that keeps your narrative self intact. When the phone disappears, the brain doesn't process it as a misplaced gadget. It processes it as a sudden amputation of self. The phantom weight you keep feeling in your pocket, that's the neural map refusing to update. A ghost limb made of data and light. The panic escalates in layers you don't consciously register. First, the amygdala fires ancient, fast, indiscriminate screaming asterisk. Something is missing asterisk before your prefrontal cortex can even ask what. Then the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis kicks in, flooding your bloodstream with cortisol. Your heart rate climbs. Your pupils dilate slightly, scanning the environment for the missing object as if it were a predator or a child, not a device. The body does not distinguish well between kinds of absence. Loss is loss. And right now, chemically, you are grieving something you haven't even confirmed is gone. The cortisol will linger for minutes, sometimes hours, long after your hand closes around the phone in the bottom of your bag and the logical brain says asterisk, see? Everything's fine. Asterisk, your endocrine system did not get the memo. It rarely does. Here's where the architecture of the thing tightens its grip. Phone designers didn't invent this response, evolution did, but they stumbled into its perfect exploitation. Every notification is a variable reward, the same mechanism that makes slot machines addictive. Dopamine drips unpredictably, and unpredictability is what hooks the brain harder than certainty ever could. You never know if the buzz in your pocket is a bill reminder or a message from someone you love. Your brain learns to check and check and check, because sometimes, just sometimes, the reward is social connection, validation, relief from the very separation anxiety the device created. The loop is almost elegant. The phone solves a problem it also generates, and your brain thanks it for the rescue every single time. The panic finds its sharpest edge not in the absence, but in the fading. You watch the battery percentage drop from 5 to 4 to 3, and something primal unsheathes itself in your chest. This isn't about the phone dying. It's about you becoming unreachable, untethered, a buoy cut loose in open water with no light. The brain processes social exclusion through the same neural pathways as physical pain overlap, so literal that acetaminophen can actually dull the sting of rejection. And right now, watching that red bar shrink, your brain anticipates the silence of a dead device, the same way it anticipates a door closing and locking behind everyone you know. The umbilical cord is made of lithium ions and cell towers, and it's thinning in your hands. Then there are the ghosts your own body manufactures. You feel the buzz in your thigh where no phone rests. You hear the chime from the other room turn nothing. Phantom vibration syndrome, they call it, as if naming it defangs the strangeness. It's your brain learning the statistical patterns of notification so deeply that any small stimulus, a muscle twitch, fabric shifting, the hum of a refrigerator, gets promoted to a signal. Dopamine anticipation fires before the buzz is confirmed, and when no buzz exists, the anticipation still leaves a trace, a spectral notification. Your brain so hungry for connection that it conjures what isn't there. The quiet cruelty is that the system knows this too. Read receipts, typing dots, these are not accidents. They are engineered pauses designed to keep your attention suspended in the amber of asterisk, maybe now dot asterisk, and your brain waits. Cortisol already rising for a ghost that never arrives. There's a ritual you probably don't name. The phone on the nightstand or under the pillow or in your hand until sleep peels your fingers open. It's the last thing you touch and the first thing you reach for, replacing the space where a lover's breath or a morning stretch used to live. Your brain has rewritten the transition protocol. Waking now includes booting up the extended self, checking for updates, scanning for threats in the form of messages you may have missed while unconscious. The first cortisol spike of the day arrives not from an alarm clock, but from a notification tally. 7 minutes into the morning and your adrenal glands have already been told that something demands your attention. The separation must end. The reunion with the device becomes synonymous with the reunion with the world. You are not just checking the time, you are confirming you still exist where it matters. And yet the more you check, the less safe you feel. This is the hidden loop, the one nobody markets. Checking provides transient relief, a microdose of certainty that quiets the amygdala for a few minutes, but it also reinforces the belief that the next check is necessary. The brain learns that anxiety is relieved by the behavior, so it produces more anxiety to trigger the behavior, a mousetrap built from your own relief. Over months, the intervals between checks shrink. You now reach for the phone even when it hasn't buzzed, during lulls so brief they barely count as silence. The pause at a red light, the commercial break, the 5 seconds it takes a page to load on your laptop. The phone fills every micro gap, and the gaps that used to hold daydreams, boredom, idle observation, those gaps close. The mind's empty space, where creative connections often spark, gets paved over by the scroll. The real separation anxiety is no longer about the device. It's about being alone with your own unmediated thoughts. You might have noticed that losing the phone in a familiar room feels worse than losing it in a strange city. That seems backwards, but it isn't. In an unfamiliar place, your brain allocates attention to the environment. It has a job to do, threats to scan, novelty to parse. At home, the absence fills the entire space. There's no distraction, no external challenge to siphon off the cortisol. Just you, the couch, and the ever louder silence of no signal. The brain, stripped of its usual prosthetic, turns inward and finds the landscape barren. No projects, no exchanges, no evidence that you are connected to anyone. The terror is not that you can't reach others. It's that unreached, you might slowly stop being real. The philosopher's old question, if a tree falls in a forest and no one hears it, does it make a sound? Gets rewritten in neural code. If a person exists and no one sees their status, do they still matter? Your amygdala votes no. Somewhere along the way, the phone stopped being a communication device and became a mirror that talks back. You don't check it for information. You check it for yourself or the version of yourself that exists in the eyes of others. The notification count is a scoreboard of relevance. The unread message is a potential affirmation. Every refresh is a small prayer. Asterisk, tell me I'm still part of the weave. Asterisk and the system, the ghost architecture, is designed to keep that prayer unanswered just long enough to make you pray again. The seen receipt without a reply is a minor abandonment event, triggering the same dorsal anterior cingulate cortex that lights up during physical distress. You know this? You felt it, that small, cold drop in the stomach when someone has read your words and chosen, in that moment, to give you nothing back. The phone doesn't cause the wound. It just makes sure you can measure it in real time. The strangest moment comes when you find the phone and nothing changes. It's back in your hand, warm from the couch cushion or cold from the car floor, and for 3 seconds the relief is almost narcotic, a clean wash of safety flooding the system. Then you unlock the screen, no messages, no calls, no notifications of any kind. The reunion you just fought for, chemically, biologically, is revealed as hollow. The device is present, but the connection you actually feared losing, the invisible thread to other people, was never being pulled. Your brain registers a new silence now, quieter but somehow worse than the panic before. You are reachable. And still nobody reached. The phone has returned, but the proof of your relevance has not. That's the second wound, the one the cortisol doesn't know how to name, but you feel anyway, right beneath the ribs. You start to hold the phone even when you're not using it. Walking from room to room, you carry it like a talisman. On the couch, it rests on your thigh, not pocketed, as if maintaining skin-level contact keeps the umbilical intact. Psychologists have an old-term transitional object, the teddy bear or blanket, that helps a child internalize the mother's soothing presence during separation. Your phone has become the adult version, a portable reliquary of voices and images that wards off the existential chill of being alone. The dark screen itself, moment by moment, delivers no content. It doesn't have to. The mere weight of it in your palm tells your amygdala that the world is still there, still accessible, still interested. Losing it isn't losing a tool. It's losing the object that lets you pretend you're never truly separate from anyone at all. The body keeps a memory of every panic. The next time your phone slips between the car seat and the console, your system will react faster, harder, primed by the last cortisol flood. The amygdala doesn't learn to stay calm, it learns to fear the absence more efficiently. You might notice yourself checking before the panic even arrives now, a preemptive padding of pockets that looks casual to anyone watching, but is neurologically an anxious ritual, a small superstition. Your brain is trying to prevent the separation before it happens, which only tightens the bond. Prevention feels like control, but control is the illusion that feeds the fear. Every time you confirm the phone is there, you are also confirming that its absence would be unbearable. The lesson sinks deeper into the circuitry. There's a particular quiet that descends when the battery finally dies and you're somewhere you can't charge it. A train, a park, a long walk you took to clear your head. The silence is complete in a way that modern silence rarely is. No hum of incoming data, no pulse of possibility. Your hand still drifts to the dark screen out of habit, a motion with no function. And each time it meets the unlit glass, you feel a small erosion of self. Not panic anymore, but something flatter. An emptiness that feels almost philosophical, as if the world has gone on without you, and you have no evidence you're in it. Your thoughts, left to their own shape, feel unruly, too loud, strangely textured. This is what your brain used to be: unmediated, self-contained, and it now registers as deprivation. The odd thing is how quickly it comes back. The phone charges, reboots, floods the screen with everything you missed, and within minutes the separation feels like a dream you can't quite recall. Your body resorbs the cortisol. The phantom pocket sensation fades. You laugh at yourself a little, maybe. That small performative laugh people do alone to mark the end of a feeling they don't want to examine. But something did shift. You now know, somewhere beneath language, that a dead battery can hollow you out. The knowledge doesn't stop the next panic, it just adds a layer of shame to it. You'll feel the fear and simultaneously feel foolish for feeling it, which is its own strange double bind. The brain, brilliant and brutal, learns nothing from the false alarm except to take the next one more seriously. Tonight you'll place the phone within arm's reach before sleep. Not because you expect a message, not because you're awaiting anything, but because the distance between your body and the device has slowly been reclassified as danger, and you no longer question why. The architecture is complete. The phone is not your tool. It is your external neural loop, your portable belonging, your proof. And somewhere in the quiet hum of the server that never sleeps, a faint signal pulses a tiny confirmation that you are still connected. The ghost in the machine is not the phone. It's you, haunting the space between check and reward, between self and signal, asking a silence shaped like glass to tell you who you are. The transmission ends here. The separation, of course, does not.